Hi, this tutorial serves several purposes. For the benefit of those who began creating courses with Open Learning version 1, the video shows the main differences in the new version of Open Learning as of May 2016. However, it also doubles as an overview of how to get started creating a course in Open Learning and features some useful information you won't currently find in the Open Learning help tutorials. So let's create a new course. So we go to Courses, Create a Course. So there's nothing new with that process, and I'm just going to open this other course that I want to show you something about. So let's look at the left-hand navigation bar. You'll see it looks pretty much the same, it operates the same, except for one major difference, and that difference is that in the original version, Announcements was the home page. That was the page that everyone arrived at, and the advantage of that was that the latest course announcements were front and center as people arrived back into the course. In the new version, the home page is called Home, and that's a completely different page. I'll just mention on the default homepage, you've got information on editing guides and some information. There's a course there, a free course for anyone who wants to create a MOOC, like a massive open online course. It's great, it's got some basic information, but in my view, not really ideal for school teachers. It's really designed for people who don't really even know how to put content together, but you can have a look at that if you want to. So the idea here is you create a nice pretty homepage with lots of images and maybe a video, and that's lovely. But I did like the fact that students read the announcements, or they saw the announcements. So one way around this is that you could link the announcements page to the homepage like this. So I haven't changed this page except for this middle banner, don't miss out on the latest announcements, click here. The other word from Open Learning, because I've asked them about this, is that they are developing an announcements widget, which you can put into here and then have your announcements on the homepage. Anyway, that's the only change really on the left-hand navigation bar. So let's create some modules. In this default course, the schedule is activities. And just as for the previous version, to initially edit anything, we need to go to course setup and content. And there we have one module, and there's that page. But before we create any modules and pages, and for the benefit of those people who are familiar with the original version of Open Learning, notice that on the right hand side there is not that block that talks about pages, files and activities. That no longer exists. It's disappeared to make way for a much more efficient way of creating courses. This is how difficult it is. Here's module 1, is that. We want to create module 2, is there. Module 3, how good is that? And then to create pages, well, there's one already here, so let's add a new page. We'll just call this page 2, create new page. Page 3, it's just so fast and so fantastic. Now, before we get into editing pages, up here there's a create a new module set. Now, I haven't played a lot with this, in fact I haven't played much at all, but I do know this. The idea of a module set is that if you have multiple module sets, it's like having multiple schedules. So, for a school teacher, this could be really handy. You could have 4 module sets, one for each term, one called term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, and in each of those module sets you have your modules or units of work for that particular term. That's one way of using a module set. Alright, so let's look at editing a page. If we go to their default page, we simply click on that, or click Edit Page. Now, that picture you saw was a thumbnail. Let's just put some text in here for now, and then finish editing. And then save and close. And that takes us back out to here. Now this is a thumbnail. It's not actually a picture in the page. So let's have a look at how to do that. We need to go edit page. So to change it, actually, let's go to page 2. To add a thumbnail, you click up here. Now I do have some thumbnails. If we click finish editing, save and close, there's our thumbnail. So let's have a look at the new page editor. We're in activities or schedule, open a page, click edit. Now I thought the last page editor was really good, but this one is incredible. First up, the spell check is on by default, which it should be. The last one you had to do something to turn on the spell check. That's not a minor point. Now have a look at this. There's a layout option. So if you click that, you can add a text block over here. You could, if you wanted to, expand that to full width, and then you could put another text block down here. So we're in layout. So if we want to edit and put something in there, let's put an image. We go to edit, click to edit. Let's say we put insert an image. If we want to view that, not bad. Now if let's just put some text in here. All right, my best text. Now check this out. If you want a file, you can add this little widget here, click to edit. So drop files here to upload. I'm going to grab a file from another monitor here, just a PDF. I drop it. This is amazing. Finish editing. Check out the view. Yes, stay on the page. Check out view. And you've got this file embedded over here to the right. Normally you'd have a file on a full width. Go to layout, expand to full width. There you go. Let's go back to view. So you can play around with this, obviously. So there's a nice image there, a bit of a text box here, and check that out. I mean, that's amazing. So this is the new editor. And then if we go back to activities and just see what that looks like from here, that was in module 1. Haven't put a thumbnail on that. Bang, fantastic. Just a reminder, of course, you can edit from activities, or this is what I call schedule, or you can edit down here, course setup content. So you can access and edit from down there as well, obviously just like before. So page 3, whoops, edit page. There it is, all the same features. In regard to adding videos, I would suggest ticking the full width button because it results in this, so therefore there's no need to muck around with video dimensions. I think that's a new option. The other thing I'll show you, for the maths buffs, you've got different equation editors, which is handy. Formats, headings and inline and special, there's different containers and blocks of text and all that sort of stuff. So that's where you get your different sizes. And the linking works the same. Video input I've mentioned. Text strip is still there. There's the table options, I've never used that. Lots of stuff. Now if you want to remove something, well, you just click the square, yes, go back to view, Bob's your uncle. So editor, page editor, fantastic. Now one other thing I want to show you is the timeline. So if we go to Administer Students timeline, you've got 3 options here. Now OpenMOOC explains what's going on here. So this is where all modules are always available. There's self-paced, which I would never use. Students got their own pace, but each module becomes available when the previous module is completed. And then there's scheduled. Now I would assume school teachers would possibly want to use this more, so you can schedule a starting date. Let's say the starting date is today. So we've got 3 modules. So let's say we want our students to be in module 1, but we don't want them distracted by module 2 and 3, because at the moment everything's accessible. So if we go into timeline, we can just drag modules 2 and 3 to a different date, and now when we go back to activities, module 2 and 3 can't be accessed at all. You can't even see what's there. So that's fantastic. Now, how would you edit this? So how do you edit this? Well, you edit this by going to course setup content, and everything is accessible via there. Of course, the students can't get in there. This is only a teacher view. That's how you would access modules that are obstructed from view for students via the timeline. So this timeline is, I've never seen anything as clever as this in any system. So I think that's really cool. Let's talk about activities. So when you are in course setup content and you're editing a page, you may have noticed this is where the widgets and activities appear on the side. Now you can play around with these. So everything is based on wiki pages, and then you add your widgets and your activities into the wiki page. So you can play around with that. There's information on the Open Learning site about this. But the one improvement I'll mention is that you can now set up every activity to notify you when a student submits to it. And this wasn't possible in the past for submission type activities. which was a real pain, so I never used them because I needed to know when people were submitting. And the other pain in the old system was the marking panel. I don't know if you've had to deal with the marking panel, but it's not very good. There's no need for the marking panel anymore because there are no submission activities. So there are ways in which you can get students to post comments, but the students don't actually see those comments. It's only viewable for the teachers. And I have been told that Open Learning is working on a new assessments feature, which will be live soon. Soon as in May 2016, so soon after that. And that's designed for teachers who need to mark and grade submissions or assignments. So that's all coming. So I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps for you in your use of Open Learning.